Hello. Aussie Cossack here from the Sydney Russian Consulate.
Put your hands together for the Aussie Cossack.
No to the Greens, no to Labor, no to Liberals.
Putin influencer.
Supporting Vladimir Putin against this opposition.
Calling himself the Aussie Cossack.
You're scared of the Aussie Cossack, you're scared of the Aussie people.
So what do we hear from the Aussie Cossack? We've got the Aussie Cossack standing as an independent.
Yeah, the Cossack.
Thanks, buddy.
Let's all get together. Let's all join together and support the Aussie Cossack in Sheffield.
The Aussie Cossack has been released. Do you like the setup? Very presidential. Is it embarrassing?
Big pharma, big media, and big government, and deep state.
Big dislike from the Aussie Cossack.
Сегодня в Австралии люди собрались на могиле.
Why do you support Vladimir Putin?
Penny Wong just put sanctions on Russia again. Penny Wong talking tough.
He mentioned the name of an alleged pedophile and they locked him up. But here he is, the Aussie Cossack.
There you go, the dirty tactics of the Australian Federal Police. No one in the government has apologised to us yet. No one has said sorry.
We should become a republic. For goodness sake, become a republic. Let's have neutrality.
You're a journalist first and foremost, very popular.
You wanted to arrest journalists. You wanted to fight freedom of speech.
Aussie Cossack et qui est un fugitif.
Let them go! Let them go! Are they going to chase me? My own mother is hiding from the camera.
Gora, keep up the good work. You made a very nice young man.
This is a disgrace. Why am I doing this? I'm just getting a selfie with you.
No, you're not. You're just annoying.
No, you're just a disgrace. He just called the police. They see the Aussie Cossack, they run for cover. We are the working class, we are the people, and we're going to take this state seat back, aren't we? How are you?
Oh, welcome back.
Great to see you again.
You too. Good to have you back here.
This guy here, right? Or this guy. Which one has a nicer face? This is Democracy Manifest. This is how the Liberal Party treats journalists. I'm a very dangerous individual. It says in the intel.
I'm asking you to leave.
We're in court today for some absolutely ridiculous charges.
Let's clean out the parliament and sack them all.
But it's very funny.
We have another customer.
Now, for your safety, I think it's better we have the mic rolling. It's none of your business, just like I told you.
And I gotta sack down Andrew.
I'm the Aussie Cossack. It's been a pleasure.
Like and subscribe to Aussie Cossack.
Welcome back to the Aussie Cossack Show. We are broadcasting live for tonight, Sunday, the 23rd of November, from the Russian Consulate. And it's a pleasure to see all of you tuning in, watching. Let me know in the comments section where you're watching from. As usual, drop your city, town, location, country, region if you're watching from overseas. But we're expecting a very large audience, as always, on multiple platforms. And it's been a very big week. In fact, we're at a historical time. It's some time that everyone's been waiting for. I think the war could be coming to an end. And President Trump, President Putin seem to be on the same team. Zelensky seems to be on his own team. And we'll get to that later. But of course, that means potentially that there could be some type of a prisoner deal, prisoner swap. I think it's paragraph 26 of the proposed 28-point plan actually talks about returning all political prisoners, civilians, and the reunification of families wherever they may be. So maybe the Aussie Cossacks 1,075-day lockdown, diplomatic standoff inside the Russian embassy could be coming to an end soon. And of course, that was all over the Australian media this week and Russian media about the Aussie Cossack complaining about the prison-like conditions. The article in the media was launched initially by ABC, and it was then picked well, it's not untrue. It is actually true. And it's not a case of complaining at the consulate. It's just a matter of reality. The consulate themselves, the Consulate General Zarina Gabieva, she confirmed what I said to the media, which was that this is a very strict government regime building. And there are very heavy restrictions on visitors and on moving around, and basically it's social isolation. And social isolation, guys, it's a very serious thing. I don't wish it upon anyone. I mean, back in the lockdown days, people were getting locked down for 7 days on quarantine and finding that very hard. Now you try 1,075 days, and that's where we are, socially isolated. Not easy, but made easier by the support and by the great people out there, and plenty of you, of course, including those people who are close to me. And you know what? The funny thing is I don't have many people close to me. It's situations like this, you realize who do you have? I mean, many people have heard of the Aussie Cossack. It's safe to say it's a household name, especially in Western Sydney. And people remember Aussie Cossack. Oh, is he still locked up, is he? Right. But as one of you guys said in the comment section, I do read all your comments. One of you said, Aussie Cossack fought for us. About time we fight for him. So what will we do? How are we going to fight? Well, to discuss that tonight, we'll go to your comments about that, how we're going to fight this situation, because I am a fighter. One thing I can't guarantee, and one thing that you guys always ask is do not stop, keep fighting, and I will keep fighting. And you know what? It happens that we are right. And we were right on COVID, of course, on lockdowns, of course, and it looks like we're right again on the Russia-Ukraine conflict, which has been dragging out way too long. Too many people dying. And of course, you blame NATO, blame people like Boris Johnson. There could have been a deal done straight away. AFPD is joining us from Brisbane. Hello, we've got Peter Lashevsky from Sale in Victoria. Jenny Dean, one of our regulars, is from Melbourne. The Australian Federation Party is watching. And by the way, the Australian Federation Party, I think it's a good party for you guys to join. Go to the website. It's free, ausfedparty.com/join. You don't have to pay anything. You just got to be on the electoral roll. Join as a member. We might need that. In fact, not might, we will need that. We will need numbers all around the country. And it's a party which is a definite chance. So, apart from politics, we've got people watching from Auckland. We've got people from Macedonia, from Kumanova, or Kumanova. How do you pronounce that? Bubs has, yes, Pokrovsk has fallen. Krasnoyarsk has been liberated. And let me know, guys, where your locations are, where you're watching from. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. So, question is, of course, that Sabinator in the comment section is asking, is it a baby boy or a baby girl? Of course, it's a baby boy. It's a baby Cossack. And leave your suggestions in the comment section for a name. But the Aussie Cossack Baby Registry is open for the baby Cossack. And thank you to all of you for our supporters who are going on to the registry and leaving your best wishes, because it's a beautiful thing to have your support. And our closest supporters are very much involved in that baby registry. Let me just let you guys know exactly. I want to give a shout out here to a few of you, and we will have that link pop up in the comment section and on screen shortly for the baby registry. But we appreciate that. Baby Cossack is a very unique baby, being born in a Russian consulate. I mean, how often do you hear about that? And I suppose conceived in the Russian consulate, made in Russia, you could say. Is he born in Australia or is he born in Russia? Well, that's the question. That is the question. But shout out to Olga K, Nolene C, Andrew K, Eric B, Oliver S, Kia MB, David R, Julie M, and Fuad M. All these great people have left a nice message and a nice gift for baby Cossack in the baby registry. That is very exciting at the moment. We're preparing for that. Now there's the link, and that'll be on screen and in the description and in the comment section below. Will be there if you want our very close supporters, and that's how you want to make your support and congratulations known. I can't stop you. You know, one of the ABC journalists the other day asked me, says, you sit in the consulate, how do you fund yourself? Does the Russian government fund you? I said, why would I need the Russian government to fund me? We've got so many great supporters out there. The baby Cossack has a baby registry, and he's got the Rolls Royce of prams. He's got the best sterilizer. He's got the best healthcare possible, and he's a lucky kid. He's a good kid. This kid's going to have everything, absolutely, and no one can stop one of our supporters or many of our supporters in being involved in that. So thank you very much again for the baby registry, for the baby shower, let's call it. And there was only a few days left, guys. I don't know when exactly, but today's the 23rd of November. The baby could be born in between now and the next 7 days, 10 days, 15 days. So basically in the next 1 to 2 weeks, any day now. Very exciting. Very exciting. Of course, first time being a father. And Who knows? Maybe if I was out and about, not locked in the consulate, things would be different. But how fancy that? This kid's going to grow up. This baby's going to grow up, and he's going to have a few stories to tell when he goes to school. And maybe if a bully tries to pick on him, he'll say, "You know who my dad is? My dad's the Aussie Cossack." Wouldn't that be great? Hopefully, I'm out of the consulate by then in some type of a deal. I can pull up to school in the black Land Cruiser and pick him up and drop him off. If we remain in Australia, we might even move to Russia. I wonder what the Australian government would like me to do. Does the Australian government want the Aussie Cossack, A, to remain in the consulate indefinitely, B, be free in Australia to move around, or C, to move to Russia? And there's plenty of opportunities in Russia, by the way. Of course, in media, politics, everything else. I mean, let's just face it. They call me a Russian propagandist, right? And that's not a bad thing. I mean, some people think it's a bad thing. Some people think it's offensive. But on Wikipedia, there's an actual page of all the Russian propagandists, right? And they've listed them all. Who the Russian propagandists are in the world on Wikipedia. And guess what? Yes, Aussie Cossack is on there. We'll get that up on screen for you now. The page category, Russian propagandists. Have a look. Let's have a read a few of them out, all right? We've got Inna Afinogenova, Pyotr Kopov. Then you got Simeon Boikov, the Aussie Cossack. Jeremiah says, and Daria Dugina is there, very highly respected person, and we remember her. She was very dear in our memory. What else we got? Konstantin Ernst, Pepe Escobar, of course. Evgeny Fyodorov, Oleg Gazmanov, Tigran Kisayan, who passed away. That's Simonyan's husband. What else we got here? A few others there. Ekaterina Mizulina. I think the Australian government put sanctions on her, actually, from what I remember. And of course, you've got Shaman, the singer. Yes, Shaman is also banned in Australia. His music is banned. Vladimir Solovyov, of course. Russian TV presenter. Olga Skabeyeva. Alexander Sladkov. Vladlen Tatarsky. He was killed by Ukrainian terrorists. Blessed memory to him. And the kingdom of heaven to him. Maria Zakharova, of course, she's there, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs spokesperson. So there you go. We've got quite a few people there. What can I say? We're amongst good company, right? I don't mind being on lists like that when you're on a list with all these Russian propagandists. But let's talk about that. What does it mean to be a Russian propagandist? Well, born in Australia, voluntarily pro-Russian because of I have a pro-Russian heritage. But is that against the law in Australia? Does the Australian government forbid me from having an opinion? And you know what? I think a lot of people now have become pro-Russian in their opinions. Let me know in the comment section. Did your opinion change through the last 3 years? Remember, 2022, February, March. I remember because I was on YouTube then, and the mood was very anti-Russian. There's a lot of people in the comment section being mean and against Russia. People even going against me, my own supporters, my own subscribers, who are now coming back to the Aussie Cossack channel, resubscribing to the new channel and saying, well, actually, he was right on the lockdowns and he was right on the Russian situation. So, guys, I don't know if we can say this on YouTube, but Russia's actually the good guy in all of this. And thank you to everyone who realized that now or 3 years ago. Let me know in the comments. Let's have a look. What do the comments people have to say? When did they become pro-Russian? When did they realize that Russia's not the bad guy? Let's have a look. Alias name says, I'm on the list here amongst quality people. Yes, very good. Another Sagittarius coming soon, says Gabriel. Are you allowed to post a video showing us around the consulate? In fact, no, cannot, unfortunately. Very much the consulate is a high security and regime building. So cannot give you much. And I've been very discreet all these years, right? I mean, there's a couple of videos there. You can have a look in the shorts on the Aussie Cossack channel on YouTube. A couple of videos doing push-ups and things like that in and around the consulate, exercising. Because I've got to keep sane. I've got to keep fit. Got to keep in the game. 3 years is a long time to be in the same place, locked down in social isolation. So how do I do it? Exercise. Every day, I have to keep moving. 40 push-ups in a row, 45 in a row sometimes. Not bad. 30, 35, depending how I feel. But I mean, 6 years ago, I could only do 5 push-ups. And then after going to jail and going to Long Bay and Darcy 3 and Silverwater and everywhere else, when you learn to do push-ups because there's nothing else to do. Just sit in the cell. What can you do? Push-ups. Can't do much else. Star jumps, I don't know, burpees, and some calisthenics. What can I say? What can I say? The days of Long Bay, yes, I was a national security interest prisoner. Shouldn't have been locked up. If you don't know what I was locked up for, John Ruddick did a great speech to the New South Wales Parliament, and he actually explained that the New South Wales government has actually been involved in a campaign of malice towards the Aussie Cossack, and that was a great speech that John Ruddick made. Let's have a look. I'll remind you if you haven't seen it yet, but have a look at this.
John Ruddick.
Mr. President, I rise to inform the House about the plight of Simeon Boikov, also known as the Aussie Cossack. Simeon was born in Sydney, the son of a Russian Orthodox priest. He attended Trinity Grammar and later had a construction business. I'd never heard of Simeon until he took the lead in organising anti-lockdown protests. Many tens of thousands of the best people took to the streets to end the insanity of COVID mania. Others were involved, but Simeon deserves the most credit for having the courage and the logistical know-how to make those protests a success. During those protests, Simeon ridiculed our political leaders and the police for treating us like farm animals over a slightly worse than usual flu. At one protest, Simeon went off topic and mentioned a criminal court case coming up where the defendant was accused of pedophilia. Simeon named the defendant. That was a breach of a suppression order. Simeon was sentenced to 10 months in Silverwater and Long Bay, the heaviest sentence for a suppression order breach in Australian history. Since he was too smart to take the warp speed vax, he served 4 months, mostly in solitary confinement. Now, why did Simeon take a special interest in this pedophile case? Well, one, he had a family member who was a victim of the pedophile, and two, he had collated a ton of evidence showing the accused pedophile had molested many more. Simeon had gone to the police repeatedly and urged an investigation. Eventually, they listened to this whistleblower and did open an investigation. That pedophile, 71-year-old Alexis Rosenthal, was recently sentenced to 19 years. Thank you, Simeon. Simeon was released after 4 months, but while inside, he was shackled in an orange jumpsuit because he was deemed a national security inmate, on par with Al-Qaeda, all over a suppression order. This was malice. Released on parole, he told the authorities his intention was to go to Russia as soon as permissible. So he went to a winter clothing shop near Town Hall, and there he saw a small pro-Ukraine rally. He wandered over, and being reasonably high profile, a man absolutely unprovoked physically hit him. Simeon pushed him away, but the man sadly fell over, hit his head, and an ambulance came. Fearing more unfairness from police, Simeon made the fateful decision to go to the Russian consulate in Wallara. Simeon and his wife have now been cooped up in that consulate for over 1,000 days. They're expecting their first child shortly. I visited Simeon once there. It was a welfare check on a mate. It's a drab, old Soviet-style building. He's effectively in solitary confinement. He's fearful of leaving the consulate and being arrested and returned to jail, and again being subject to unfair legal malice, revenge for him being right on COVID and the political class being wrong. Simeon is politically passionate, but he is a good-natured guy and good company. He is not violent. Surely he deserves some leniency for his critical role in the pedophile matter and the fact that he has well and truly served time in an albeit unorthodox manner. I'm hereby pleading with the Attorney-General to please find a way to end this sorry saga.
Thank you very much.
Great job, John Ruddick there. Shout out to him. I think he did an excellent job, in fact, of summarising in that 3-minute speech to the New South Wales Legislative Assembly. Did a good job. So that was the Legislative Council, I believe. Maybe Glenn O'Rourke can remember. MLC, John Ruddick, MLC, member of Legislative Council, also known as the Upper House. I don't know why people call it the Upper House, and I also don't know why people don't call it the Upper House. But in any case, John Ruddick did a good job. It's true. That the Australian government, or the New South Wales government, because as far as I'm aware, there's no federal charges or warrants. It's a state matter. Now, imagine being charged, convicted, and sentenced to 10 months jail simply for naming a pedo who deserved to be named. And that pedophile's name is Alexis Rosenthal, and he's now doing 19 years. And I'm told, reliably informed, that he's got a fanatical group of sort of sect-style supporters who continue gathering in his monastery compound in Bombala, and they pray for the falsely imprisoned Alexis Rosenthal. He's not falsely imprisoned. He's imprisoned because he's a pedo dog, and he deserves to be, and he should be named, and he should be jailed. And I'm sure the stay there is very, very unpleasant, because somebody like Rosenthal, he doesn't need to have charge papers on him or a charge sheet to be identified by the prisoners as a rock spider. the bloke could walk into any jail yard and they would instantly know who he is and what's he in for, what has he done. That's pretty clear in that regard. So I'm very happy that he's in jail because he got away with it for many, many years. Many families were affected and victims and generations starting from the 1980s, 1990s, 2000s. And my advice to anyone watching anywhere around the world, if you're a victim of abuse, speak up, stand up, find people who will hear you, believe you, and support you, right? And people come to me about these things because they know if I hear about it, if I'm told, I will do something about it. And I did something about it. And I have done, that's not the only time I've busted these grubs. It's important. It's important because the way society is going, the way things are going with social media and algorithms and TikTok and Instagram, and there's a lot of predatory behavior, a lot of dangers for kids. We've got to stick up for kids, stick up for the kids. And I'm shortly about to be a father myself. And this is when a parent would kill for protect their child. It's a normal thing. It's a normal thing. So we will continue doing that. And why does the government think it's appropriate to jail me for 10 months? Well, I think it's a gross miscarriage of justice. We all know that the real reason that they did that was to get me back. Like John Ruddick said, it was malice for making them look silly during COVID. It was malice by the government. And I think that the government, if they want to just withdraw the charges or drop the charges, because that's what I'm wanted for. I'm sitting in the Russian consulate because I'm wanted for the balance of the sentence, a 10-month sentence for breaching a suppression order and naming Alexis Rosenthal. And they want to send me back to prison. If I stepped out of the Russian consulate right now, I'll be arrested and I will be sent to prison to serve the remainder of the sentence, even though Rosenthal himself is in prison for 19 years, which I was right to name him, right? There was no miscarriage of justice. There was no identification of witnesses or victims or children involved in the case. I simply named the predator. I named the defendant. I named the accused. I named the convicted pedophile priest, right? These guys are like an endangered species. They're so protected by the government. But of course, I mean, suppression orders are breached all the time. The broadcasters on radio breached them. Darren Hinch, I think he only got 2 weeks jail. Maybe it was house arrest or something. He wasn't there. No one ever got 10 months. So what John Ruddick is talking about, he's talking about a Royal Prerogative pardon. Now, a Royal Prerogative pardon is a rare power that can be exercised by the Governor-General in New South Wales Governor-General, upon the recommendation, advice from the, the Attorney General. The Attorney General is the member for Maroubra, and I believe his name is Mr. Darby. There is the Attorney General, member for Maroubra, so he's also in New South Wales Parliament, and we would like Michael Darby, I believe it is the Attorney General. Well, what I think is the best thing to do, and I think this is what we're planning, is John Ruddick, who did get elected with my support, and I'm glad that he does admit that. He's honourable enough to actually say that. He never hides that. He says when he got elected, Aussie Cossack was campaigning, and I was telling people vote for Ruddick in New South Wales, and that was during or just after the lockdown. So we had a lot of ground game and a lot of support and a lot of reach, a lot of coverage through social media. So Ruddick, at least he's a good bloke. He's a good man. He remembers who helped him get into Parliament, and look what he's doing now. He's helping Aussie Cossack, who's locked away. So the plan would be for John Ruddick to propose a motion, a parliamentary motion, New South Wales Parliament, to pass a motion recommending to the Attorney General, that the Attorney General then recommends to the Governor-General of New South Wales to give a Royal Prerogative pardon, to basically drop these charges, have them withdrawn, whatever. And that's the thing, that's our best chance. And if the government doesn't want to go through that whole circus, because that will be a bit of a circus, there'll be Parliament, there'll be media involved, and there'll be a lot of public interest in that. And it's a winning ticket. It's a good case. It's a good wicket to be on, if you're me. But if you're the government, it's not, because then that means this gets debated in Parliament. It gets talked about. The more this gets talked about, the more people realise, hang on a second, Aussie Cossack was sentenced to 10 months jail. right? People remember what I did in COVID. We were all together, lockdowns against the coppers, making fools of them, making fools of Berejiklian and Brad Hazard and David Elliott, the grub, and all the rest of them. Now, it's actually David Elliott who put me in prison. It was under him. He was the police minister and the corrective minister. So he's the one that's responsible for the national security interest classification, which I was given in the prison system, right? I was had my legs shackled and I was given orange overalls, like an orange jumpsuit, Guantanamo Bay. And John Ruddick is talking about that in Parliament. How inconvenient for the government. But this is now becoming a topic of conversation. So that's where we're moving on to with these plans. Now, there's only a few days of Parliament left in New South Wales this year. So if anything, that campaign will be prepared and carried over into the new year. But at the same time, it looks like this conflict might be wrapping up with a bit of a peace deal. So whichever way it's going to go, there are certainly strong prospects for freedom. And would I do it all again? I probably would, because what have I done in the last 3 years? I've been locked away here, but I've been, let's just face it, doing Russian propaganda. And what's wrong with that? I believe that in the next few months, in the next 1 to 2 years, there's going to be a big shift. And a lot of people around the world in the media, and it's already happening, are going to realize that Russians are not the bad guys. They never were the bad guys. And Tony Abbott today, the former Prime Minister of Australia, made an announcement. He said to the Ukrainians, do not sign the peace document and Australia can send troops. I mean, what an imbecile. Tony Abbott, the shirt fronter. Very disappointing because and Tony Abbott, some people say that he is a possible leader for the Liberals again. And there are a lot of good people in the Liberal Party who are concerned that want reform. And of course, especially in terms of pre-selection, they want to be able to have control back to the people. But unfortunately, they keep making mistakes. And everyone's entitled to make a mistake. But just admit you're making a mistake and stop before it's too far gone. Tony Abbott's making a mistake again. Just the people don't appreciate the silliness in this. Why would Tony Abbott tell Ukraine not to sign a peace agreement? Well, what has Australia got to do with anything? Australia never had anything to do with this conflict, never should have. Shouldn't have sent one Bushmaster, one 777 artillery system, $1. Instead, they sent more than $1 billion of your Australian or our Australian taxpayer money. And the Ukrainians basically cleaned out Australia's military hardware, all of the warehouses, all of the supply of the strategic reserve, all 49 tanks that Australia had in reserve, Abrams tanks, all gone. 120 Bushmasters, gone. Even 14 trailers. They even sent trailers. Imagine that, sending a trailer overseas. As if you couldn't just buy a trailer for $300 in Poland. You have to send it from Australia. Again, virtue signaling. They even sent a ship full of coal. Ukraine has its own coal. Poland has coal. Czechoslovakia has coal. I mean, there's no country isn't anymore as Czechoslovakia. It would be called the Czech Republic. But there is plenty of coal in Europe. Why does Australia have to send a ship full of coal? It's all about showing that we're supporting, right? So Penny Wong and all the rest of them, who knows what they're going to say next, because Trump is very clearly sympathetic to the Russian side. And I love that. It's great. And that's why I supported Trump in the election against Kamala Harris. Right? Imagine if Kamala was in charge. Kamala, Hillary Clinton. Imagine if those people were in charge of the United States government. It'd be a disaster, right? There'd be war everywhere. But Trump looks like he's doing a good job. I mean, you might criticize him for other things, but of course, you have to admit that he is doing the right thing when it comes to Putin. And I can't wait for there to be peace on favorable terms to Russia, of course. So then Putin and Trump can get down to business and get back to improving humanity instead of killing off humanity, right? This is a very valuable gene pool which is dying, the Russian and Ukrainian gene pool. Why I say so? Because the Ukrainian gene pool is the Russian gene pool. It's the same people. I mean, we Russians, we don't get any pleasure out of killing Ukrainians. We don't. It's terrible, right? And they should never have been turned against Russia, because that's exactly what happened. NATO, Biden, Boris Johnson. Boris Johnson is the biggest grub of them all, because there was going to be a peace deal in 2022. And Boris Johnson insisted that they keep fighting. Very sad, very sad. But of course, this peace deal, this 28-point peace deal, it clearly says that one of the most important points of the peace deal is that Zelensky needs to resign, basically, and have elections within 100 days. And my gut feeling, and I don't know if I should be saying this publicly, but who cares, let me just say it. My gut feeling is the main thing is to get rid of Zelensky. As soon as he leaves, as soon as he resigns, boom, all bets are off. All bets are on. There's going to be any deal going, because the situation will be fluid. Once Zelensky's gone and the Ukrainian people are free from Zelensky and his corrupt circle of corrupt bureaucrats, there can be a new leader. And what if that leader wants to be friends with Russia? No one can stop him, or the people can elect whoever they like. And the people of Ukraine, or whatever's left of the people of Ukraine, they might elect a government which is friendly towards Russia. Wouldn't that be great, right? And then they can rebuild together. I always said this, that it's going to be Russia rebuilding Ukraine either way. So once that happens, once these two countries, which were always one country, are friends again, then the West is going to be sidelined. And they can butt their noses out of it because there's a lot of potential for friendship. It should really be one country, like I've always said, brotherly people. So what we need to do is understand that before the war, there was about 52 million Ukrainians. Now remaining in Ukraine, there's like 15 million, 14 million. Now, not all of them have been killed. A lot of them left. They went to Poland and Germany. 1.25 million went to Russia, probably more, probably 5 or 6 million went to Russia. But a lot of them went to other countries as refugees, and a lot of them, of course, recruited. A lot of them are hiding. A lot of the men are hiding from Zelensky's body snatchers. So there you go. Let's go to the comments section, and 3-finger salute to Cossack. And it's not Zelensky, it's Trump in America. Yeah, it's definitely Trump who's pushing that peace deal. I don't think the Ukrainians are happy about it at all. Sorry, the Ukrainians probably are happy. Zelensky's not happy. Zelensky knows as soon as the war's finished, as soon as the war's over and there's some type of a ceasefire or a peace deal, Zelensky is finished. He's useless. He's gone. He's not going to be worth anything to anyone anymore. And the question is, guys, which country will Zelensky flee to? Which country? Let's put a little bit of a poll in the comment section, or just give me your comments. Which country will Zelensky flee to? I know someone's going to say Israel. He probably got a passport from that country. Who knows? He might go to the UK, he might go to France, he might go to, probably not to the United States, because the United States these days under Trump is a place where people don't like Zelensky. The MAGA movement, the United States, very staunchly against Zelensky, and he's losing support. It's only the imbeciles in the Australian government who are still holding on to the deep state Biden era narrative of let's stand with Ukraine. I mean, if Australia supposedly follows America in its foreign policy, right, which it always has for the last 80 years since 1945, if Australia follows America, why doesn't Australia follow America now, right? And that's why it took so long for Albanese to meet Trump, because Trump didn't want to meet Albanese. And look at the way Trump talked about Kevin Rudd, the Australian ambassador to the US. I said, I don't like you either. The Australian government needs to start understanding that the world has changed, right? The US does not look at Russia as the bad guy. The US looks at Russia under Trump as a potential partner, a trading partner, right? And no one wants any more blood. No one wants any more killing. Enough is enough. They should never, NATO should never have encroached and gone in there and organized color revolutions and Maidan in 2014. That was a terrible thing. And the Ukrainian people are paying with their blood. And that blood that's been spilled, and there's a lot of blood that's been spilled, that's on the hands of the CIA. That's on the hands of Victoria Nuland and Hillary Clinton. That's who both sides should blame. These are the people who caused this bloodshed. Again, Russians get no pleasure in conducting this. That's why they don't call it a war. That's why we call it a special operation. And that's the way it's going to end. Looks like it's coming up to ending on terms which are laid out in Trump's peace deal. Of course, Vladimir Putin has said that's the basis. Russia, in principle, doesn't have anything against it, but that's the basis. Zelensky, meanwhile, he's been given, what, till Thursday? Here we are on Sunday. He's got 4 days. He's got 4 days to go. And what did Trump say? He said, if Zelensky doesn't want to accept the peace deal, then he can basically fight for himself. He's on his own, right? And the Ukrainian army on their own, without satellite intel, without coordination of their military through NATO systems and HIMARS missiles and ATACMS missiles and everything else, the US, the Germans and the French have given, and the British and the Canadians and the Australians. All the Australians didn't give much. Again, what's a few trailers going to do? What's a few Bushmasters going to do? Nothing. And they did nothing except provide excellent content for Aussie Cossack on Telegram. Oh, by the way, bit shadow banned on Telegram as well, but if you can find me there, at Aussie Cossack on Telegram, make sure you subscribe. Let's look at the comment sections. You guys have a lot have to say about this. I understand it's a touchy topic. And questions in the comment section. What have we got here? A simple question requires a simple answer. I don't mind you, but you love Russia. Why haven't you returned? Okay, mate. Let me go. Let me go. I'll get on the first plane. If I got informed, right? If the Russian embassy, for example, received a phone call from DFAT and they said, we've dropped the charges against Aussie Cossack, we wouldn't mind if you left the country, right? The Australian government gave a free passage, it's called, free passage deal, where I can just leave the consulate in a diplomatic vehicle, go straight to a waiting plane, and it can be a diplomatic plane, it can be a private plane, it can be a commercial plane, doesn't matter. As long as there's a guarantee that I won't be intercepted and arrested and tricked. Because I don't really trust the Australian government. You've seen what they did to me during COVID. And for that person that asked that question, you need to have the backstory to know why I've been locked up in here for 3 years. And I would accept the deal to leave. Again, I would also stay and fight in this country because there's definitely a lot to do. There's elections coming up. There's a New South Wales 2027 March election. And that's why I'm saying to everyone, join the Australian Federation Party, because we will need a party to take on the majors and, of course, and some of the bootlicking miners. Let's call them that. Let's put it that way. So I would go. It would take me 5 minutes. You know what I'd take? I'd take my Russian passport, because I've got one, thanks to Vladimir Putin, and put my shoes on and put a pair of trackies on. That's it. I don't need anything else. I mean, of course, we'll have to organize and facilitate a few other things, but that's it. 3 years locked away in this country. Yes, in Australia. Another question there. The fact that they haven't made, they probably want to swap you for Aussie traitors. Well, there is that bloke, Oscar Jenkins, who's doing a 13-year sentence. He's the school teacher from Melbourne. Oscar Jenkins, the vegan, he's been convicted of mercenaryism. And he is not a prisoner of war. The Australian government thinks they'll get him back. Zelensky even called Albanese and promised Albanese. He says, don't talk to the Russians, don't negotiate with them. We'll get Oscar Jenkins back, which is, of course, nonsense, because why would Russia talk to Ukraine about Oscar Jenkins when Russia owns Oscar Jenkins? He's sitting in a Russian prison camp, and Oscar Jenkins is an Australian citizen from Australia. So if you want to get Oscar Jenkins back, then pick up the phone and talk to the Russians. But I can tell you one thing for sure, and I know this from open sources and probably also from inside sources. There is no dialogue between Russia and Australia on a diplomatic level. The embassy, there's no dialogue. It's a very, very bad time for relations. It has been since the beginning of the SMO. And there is no diplomacy, really. There's nothing happening. There's no conversation. There should be. They should talk. They should sit down and say, right, the Australian government should say, right, we want Oscar Jenkins back. We're happy to drop these charges against Aussie Cossack. I mean, if I probably launch some massive high court appeal remotely, ex parte it's called, without going there, and send a good, strong entourage of barristers and lawyers and king's counsels and whatever, probably win, probably get up, right? Probably cost $100,000. I mean, maybe one of my supporters watching there is some Bitcoin whale or someone else is very wealthy. They want to get in touch. Because, mate, if we had the resources, we'd probably get out of here by now. Challenge these charges in the High Court. I mean, it's not fair. Right? There is consideration for humanitarian and compassionate grounds that I've been here so long. But the reason I'm here is because I was treated as a national security interest, extreme high risk inmate in the prison system. Now, not many people know what that's like, right? Just to put it into perspective, I was sitting in prisons with Alameddins and Hamzis at different times, not together, of course, right? With killers and murderers. I'm not saying Hamzis and Alameddins are necessarily killers and murderers. They're very pleasant people. The ones that I met anyway in the prison actually helped me. Because I was a national security interest, I was so restricted I couldn't even make phone calls to anyone. And I had to use other prisoners' phone accounts, right, which they gave me and helped me. One of them was an Alameddin. He helped me. I was able to call out of the jail because as a national security interest inmate, they restrict you very heavily. Now, why was I declared a national security interest inmate? Do I deserve that? I don't think so. I know why they did it, because I was a threat to the government and I made them look silly, and they haven't forgiven me for that. But 33,000 COVID-era fines and offences were forgiven, and people's criminal records were expunged, and people were exonerated, charged for being out of their 5 kilometres or not using a QR code or not wearing a mask. So, in the spirit of that action to reverse the madness, I think it's about time that the question of the saga of the Aussie Cossack is decided, or finally is finished. We can move on. I mean, 35 years old I am. I've lost a few good years in here. I've been here since I was 32, right? It's been a long time. Missed a bit of a whack there. I got a baby on the way in a week, right? So if the Australian government has any ounce of decency, they would consider all of this, right, that we're doing. And you guys in the comment section seem to agree. Going to need to submarine you out of Sydney Harbour, says alias name, #1 commentator. Word 1901 says $300,000 minimum to get into the High Court. Well, maybe we can do it. I mean, I'm sure it can be done. I hear Zelensky is coming to Australia to be the Liberal leader. I don't think so. They only take battered chooks into the Liberals. So maybe he's a battered chook, so they would take him. Gabriel is correct. They only get you on something else once you're out, and that's why you can't trust them. Greg says the Aussie Cossack was a threat to the Australian establishment. Kashashin says, is Gulag worse than an Aussie prison? What? I don't know. I've never been to a Gulag. No, I have. I have actually. When I was in seminary, when I was 18 years old after finishing high school, I flew to Moscow and enrolled in seminary, and I was there, did 3.5 years of seminary. During seminary, we actually visited prisons with the priests to give Holy Communion to the prisoners. So I actually went to a massive Russian prison. 10,000 prisoners were there. Wasn't too bad. We bought two Kamaz trucks filled with salami, so filled with cold meats for the prisoners. That was like a program the monastery was doing, the Sretinsky Monastery. A very good place to get an education, I'd say. And yes, Trump is the man. This guy again wants to ask a question. We'll read it out. Free ride home to Russia and you're conscripted. Would you go to the front lines? Well, guys, I'll answer this question very carefully, right? Because if you're seen to be recruiting or conspiring or indicating that you want to become a foreign fighter, that's actually an offense in itself. So I won't answer that question, but let me tell you in this way. I am on the front lines right now. The war is not just a war. It's not just a war in the trenches. The war is everywhere. And being locked in the Russian consulate for 3 years, I have not stopped fighting day and night, every single day, in a very various sort of broad capacity, many different things, many campaigns, organic action, broadcasting, commentating, and agitating, pushing the Russian line, pushing the pro-Russian line, right? Some people call it truth, some people call it propaganda. It's up to you. But I've been fighting, and the frontline soldiers, the Russian troops on the front lines of the special operation, they recognize that, and they know that, and they read the Aussie Cossacks Telegram channel, and they're subscribed, and they know who I am, and they're waiting for me to go and join them. I don't need to join in the capacity of a tank driver or infantryman or a sniper or whatever, right? I'm not a military person. I am a propagandist. But the propagandists are very much required. I'll tell you something, that in World War II, the German army had a wanted list. And guess who's at the top of the wanted list? Not Joseph Stalin. The top of the wanted list of the Soviet most wanted people was actually Levitan. And that bloke was a famous Soviet broadcaster. His voice was very well known for broadcasting pro-Soviet and anti-Nazi propaganda. Propaganda, again, or truth, whatever you want to call it. And he was their most wanted, right? The Germans most feared him. They were most concerned about him. And the boys on the front line definitely say hello. Have a look. In fact, this was just sent in. Have a look at this.
За тобой следим постоянно. Таков, здорово, брат. Работай, мы за тобой следим постоянно. Ты у нас красавчик, молодец вообще. Верный казак. Несмотря...
There you go. And it's a pleasure. Работайте, братья. It's a pleasure to know that the work that is done is appreciated and known, and just like we appreciate the work that the boys in the front line are doing, because the Russian world is united wherever we are in all parts of the world, and we are winning, and we have always been winning, and we will win. Even if there's a deal done now, it's going to be a deal which is favorable to Russia, because all we need to do is get rid of the Zelensky rubbish, nastiness, and then move on. And there's a whole world out there. There's lots of things to do, and this I'm looking forward to the future. To be quite honest, I'm looking forward to the future. And thank you to everyone who's been on the right side of history. I've said it before, I'll say it again. A lot of Australians saw right through the Western media lies when it came to Russia, and they knew that Russia's not the enemy. They knew that Russia is not the bad guy. So thank you to all those people watching, and let me know in the comment section if that's you and where you're watching from. I'll give you a shout out. Hold My Eucalyptus says, I am a propagandist. I can already see the headlines. Well, I am a propagandist. I'm not an extremist, right? Wikipedia or Google reckons I'm an extremist. In fact, they reckon I'm a far-right extremist. I'm not a far-right extremist. I mean, I don't like Nazis. I'm against them completely. And Nazis don't like me because I'm a Russian. Russia defeated the Nazis. The Soviet Union did. Yes. So, but I am a propagandist, I suppose. Imagine that. Imagine from 2019-20 being sort of the rabble-rouser, instigator of the pushback to lockdowns, organizing protests and anti-government action. And then once the lockdowns finish, straight away the Russia-Ukraine war starts. I said, I haven't stopped, mate. I haven't stopped for 6 years. I've been on the run, most wanted, most targeted. It's like a double. It's like bad enough if you're unvaxxed, but if you're unvaxxed and you're a Russian, it's like you're double in trouble. So I think I deserve a holiday by now. I think I've done my part, guys. Wouldn't you say? I think John Ruddick and the Parliament would agree that it's time to put this behind us. Look, the police had their ups, they had their downs, they had their wins against me and their losses against me. They harassed me, they chased me. Sometimes I chased the police. Sometimes I was honest. Sometimes I get in the black Land Cruiser and go for a drive, and I think, I hope the cops pull me over. It'd be a great video for YouTube. And you know what? Every time they'd pull me over, and they would not disappoint. Have a look at the videos on the channel, on the Aussie Cossack channel. If you're new, if you've just a first time watching, but there's plenty of great videos there, some real classics from back in the good old days. And of course, if I remain in Australia, imagine that, out on the streets again, running amok, or going into Parliament, or not, or backing someone who's going into Parliament, or doing something. In fact, you know, guys, I wouldn't mind doing nothing. I wouldn't mind just going to the beach and casting a fishing line off the rocks into the waves. Yes, that's what I'd like to do. And just hang out at the beach for a while, right? And spend some time, family. When it comes to friends, when you think you have a lot of friends, right? People say, oh, I've got 7,000 friends on Facebook. But when you get locked up, that's when you know who your friends are. And then you realize that only your family are your friends. Oh, well, there are some good people out there. Let's give them a shout out. Let's give a shout out to, I think it's Thomas from Goulburn. Let's give a shout out to Emma from Gosford. Let's give a shout out to Emily from regional Victoria. There's many good people out there, to be quite honest. Tommy, if you're watching, and I think you are watching, remember you. And a big shout out, of course, to AT, and the ground crew. A lot of good people out there along the way who have been very good brothers and sisters. And that, of course, gives me a lot of strength. Gives me strength and Mrs. strength to persevere and power on, despite all this very, very all these very difficult circumstances which have been presented starting from about 2019-20. But certainly there is a risk that if I do hand myself in or walk out of the consulate, that the government would probably arrest me and charge me with something. PK Truth 1455 says, we need the Cossack in Canberra to rock the boat. It's true. It's very true. And Doug says, Bosie had your back. Why had? Well, I'm sure it has, unless there's something you know that I don't know. I mean, I know he's doing his own thing. We sort of, everyone's doing their own thing, but I don't think there's anything hostile or bad that Bosie has indicated or shown. And he did have my back. He helped me. He was there at the courthouse when I was arrested for the suppression order and many other things. And what else we got here? We've got lots of comments pouring in here. Shout out to all postcard pals. Indeed, guys. one thing I really want to get around to doing, which we will do eventually, I've actually got a whole box. I've got a whole box of letters from jail. I got so many jail letters that thousands and thousands of letters, and I got a copy of all of them in the jails when I was locked up. A lot of you are writing letters, postcards. Appreciate it. Shout out to one person from Chernogoria. Where is that? How do you say that in English? Chernogoria. Chernogoria. How is that in English? Let me know in the comment section. But they sent me a postcard from overseas. I got a postcard from Poland, and yeah, it was nice to get postcards in prison. Because you shouldn't be jailed for naming a pedo. You should not. It shouldn't happen to anyone, but it happened to me. Right? The government needs to look at that situation. Either the police can just withdraw it or drop the charges and I can go quietly, or we can do a big fancy parliamentary motion. We can do protests. We can do petitions. We can put political pressure. We can put street pressure, media pressure, social media pressure. And what are the government going to do at the end of the day? At the end of the day, they've got to let me go, right? So just let me go quietly. Maybe I'll just go to Russia. Wouldn't mind, honestly. Would not mind at all. You can still go fishing in Russia. Go fishing in the rivers and the lakes. Lake Baikal. Montenegro is how you say it, Chernogoria. There you go. Tony Merdner, 9871, I sent you a postcard. Thank you very much. Honestly, from the bottom of my heart, everyone who sent me a postcard. And some people send me postcards to the consulate. Got a letter in the mail the other day from a Polish lady called Beta, sorry. She's very nice. And she sent me a postcard and said she made some homemade baby socks for baby Cossack, getting ready for the baby. And what can we do? Peter Leszewski, I remember when you went to Glen Rowan, Ned Kelly town. It was live. It's true. It's true. This commentator, Trump is the man, says he's neutral from Australia. But I think that he's a bit of a provocateur. But it's okay. You know what? These people commentators who are against Russia or against me, whatever, you can talk, but there's nothing you can do because Russia will prevail. And it already has. Look at the map, guys. Look at the map. Russia wins. Bad luck. Right? And you know what the worst thing is for the enemies of Russia is if they didn't poke the bear, if they didn't provocate Russia, Russia would be far weaker than it is now. Because they provocated Russia, Russia is so strong right now. It's very strong. Russia has such immense experience in fighting wars now, shooting down missiles, Western-made NATO missiles, shooting down and intercepting Western drones, Western systems, destroying Abrams tanks, Leopard tanks, Challenger tanks. Every single thing that NATO has is on the battlefield. Strikers, what do they call them? All the MRAPs and all the vehicles, all the weapons, everything that the US military, the Germans, the British, the Russians have mastered it all. I mean, Russia did a great job, is doing a great job, single-handedly, basically, with basically no help from anyone else. Maybe a bit of marginal help, maybe from, can't say no one. North Korea was there, and it's fantastic. Good on the North Koreans. But basically up against 55 countries. 55 countries providing everything, and the Ukrainians were simply just used as the cannon fodder. Everything about them. Uniforms, food, rations, sunglasses, rifles, machine guns, shells, Humvees, everything was NATO. So Russia effectively held off a NATO army and won. Because when it comes down to it, every single battle was won by Russia and is continuing now. That's what Putin said. And Trump said, if you don't make peace, it's just going to get worse and worse. You're going to lose more territory. But we've got to be careful because I think YouTube is not very supportive of too hardcore pro-Russian propaganda. So we'll just pretend that we're like neutral or something, yeah? But look, guys, being neutral actually is a covert pro-Russian position, right? If you're in Australia and you're neutral, that means you're not against Russia. That means you're an Australian and you're saying, it's not my fight. I haven't got a dog in the fight. I couldn't care less. And that's a good position to have, right? Neutrality is good, right? Mind your own business and live and prosper and look after your kids, be nice to your parents and be a good person. There's no point in getting involved in overseas wars. That's what the Australian government was trying to do. That's why we appreciate, and I appreciate, all of the Australians who marched for neutrality. We had those big marches, those big rallies all around the country. I mean, they could have done more, but if you consider that, unfortunately, the Russian embassy, the Russian diplomats for the last 15 years, the work that they did in pushing the pro-Russian narrative or creating a community in Australia of pro-Russian activists, staunch patriots. It wasn't very good. It wasn't effective. And that's one thing I want to change, right? Russia needs to, and it is taking lessons, making its observations about how this has all panned out. And what we need is a strong soft power all around the world, in the Western world. Look at in Australia, for example, right? Where was the Russian community marching in pro-Russian marches? It wasn't. The Aussies were, right? People like you. Aussie Cossack subscribers were marching with Russian flags in Perth, in Brisbane, in Sydney, in Melbourne. And people like Emma from Gosford was marching with Russian flags, and other people. Michael Hayes, God bless him, his memory. He passed away. He was a great volunteer. He was a good bloke. Nothing to do with Russia. He was an Australian. So thanks to all of you. And I think we'll have some events, some proper events to acknowledge these people, because the embassy has never acknowledged any of these people. The diplomats have not acknowledged that there was a organic campaign and fight for public opinion. It was waged on social media, in Parliament, in the corridors of Parliament. There are parliamentarians out there who adopted a pro-Russian position, and they were shunned, and good on them. Or at least, like I said, at least a neutral position, right? At least a neutral position is good enough. Let's have a look at the comment section, guys. Flying in comments, thousands of them coming in, or hundreds of them. And what do we got? I don't know why some Russian citizens have an issue with Russia. What's Russia ever done to us? Besides, it's true. My Russian is very rusty, but I'm still not bad moving there. Very secure and safe and free. True story. Yes, it is. Yes. Australian Federation Party says Russia has world-leading cancer cures and abilities with thorium nuclear technology. It's true. Doug 2776 says Putin is a boss. And people are saying your good name, Simeon, will be smirched if you get into politics. Then people will know you're compromised. Well, one party which is not compromised is the Australian Federation Party. So join it if you guys are watching, right? Join it. Two things you can do today, two little pieces of homework. Join the Australian Federation Party. It's free to join. And click the link in the description section if you want to be part of Baby Cossack's baby shower. Baby Cossack is going to be here any moment now. And it's very exciting. Very exciting. Very exciting. Delhi Sparkles. What will happen if you leave the embassy or the consulate? Should I say it's a consulate? I'll be arrested. I'll be arrested. And then we don't know what happens. We don't know what the Australian government, what the police have in mind, right? At the moment, they're saying we've got 2 warrants against Simeon Boikov. That's the official position. The New South Wales police have 2 warrants. One warrant is for the breach of the suppression order, which I served already 4 months in jail for. They want me to serve the rest, the balance of the parole. And the second warrant is for that little push incident. And let's get that up on screen, shall we? We get the push incident. We'll get team to play that whenever you're ready. The so-called Aussie Cossack assault in Town Hall, right? Of course, it wasn't an assault. It was a self-defense moment. And being a self-defense situation, it certainly, I shouldn't have been charged. I mean, the bloke walked up to me. I just simply pushed him away. You guys who've been watching my channel for a long time know that there's never any violence. There's never any confrontation. It's always a bit of humor, gift of the gab. We never resort to violence. But this is a very clear case of the Ukrainian assailant on Town Hall Square that day. And you know, guys, the reason why they attacked me that day, because I had booked tickets. I was planning to fly to Russia. This is exactly almost 3 years ago. This is the 14th of December, 2022, that fateful day. And I wasn't able to make it out of the country. They grabbed me, they set me up, and it was an absolute setup, I can tell you. It was an absolute setup. I think the honest truth is that the government or the police, they know it was self-defense incident. It wasn't an incident that should be looked at as being a assault. Definitely not. So that's another thing. That's another thing we need to deal with. We need to get that off get that expunged. Get the government to confirm, or the police to confirm that no, it wasn't a assault, it was a self-defense. Got that video? Can we play it? Go ahead. Yes, it's available there on all around the place, this video. You can find it. I should probably upload it. It's on my channel, a TikTok channel. By the way, Aussie Cossacks on TikTok, or the Aussie Cossack on TikTok. You can find it, and you can watch that clip. But some of you have already seen it, and it's definitely self-defense, guys. It's definitely self-defense. Let's have a look, guys. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at your comments. If the man hadn't approached you on the steps, he wouldn't have fallen when you pushed him lightly. Well, guys, I pushed him away, right? You can see in the video, which we're about to play, which our team's actually finding and uploading now for you. You can see the guy grabs me, right? He grabs me, and I just push him away. Right? I pushed him away. Bad luck, he fell over. What am I supposed to do? When you're allowed to defend yourself, right? It's very easy to defend yourself. By law, you can. You can, if someone, in fact, I'm reliably informed that even if someone is intending to assault you or threatening you or aggressively approaching you, you can push them away, right? But this guy actually grabbed me, this Ukrainian assailant. It was a complete setup. And I knew that I wasn't going to get a fair go in the courts, right? We know that. We know that. If they gave me 10 months for naming a pedo in a suppression order breach, what were they going to give me for this so-called assault, which really was a self-defense incident, wasn't it? A self-defense incident. But the incident, this video which you're about to watch now, it basically encompasses the whole conflict. It summarizes the whole conflict, right? Russia's there doing its own thing, and the Ukrainians run up, attack Russia, and then they play victim. Then they play victim, and they say, oh, we were attacked. Well, this is not true, is it? Not true. So I want everyone to watch carefully now and tell me about what you think about this incident. Is it self-defense or is it assault? Let me know in the comment section. Here we go. We're going to watch it together. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Pretended to fall first, and the lady assaulted you. It's true. There is also a lady that assaulted me. You can't beat video evidence. He wouldn't have fallen if it wasn't on steps. They literally just want to swap you for one of their PDF file cell swords. Well, I don't know what they want, but castle law. Castle law means that if someone approaches you and grabs you, right, you can defend yourself. Look, if this was put to a referendum, or if it was put to a pub test, and this video was shown on the 6 o'clock news and everybody had to vote and say, what do you think, guys? Self-defense or assault? I wonder what the answer would be, right? Or if you did the same thing to a police officer, if you walk up to a police officer and you grabbed him, imagine what would happen to you. Imagine if I grabbed a copper, if I walked up to a policeman aggressively, grabbed him, mate, they would deck me, they would pepper spray me, they would baton me, they would handcuff me, and then they would bail deny me and throw me in prison for assaulting police, right? It's pretty clear what they would do. Now, why is it that this Ukrainian assailant, and I'm reliably informed he's not even Ukrainian, he's an Australian who was carrying a very large Ukrainian flag on a pole. So when he actually attacked me, he was holding a pole, right? Holding a pole, attacking me, and saying something very aggressive. He was swearing, F off, you useless bastard, or something. PK Truth 455 says, hey, Cossack, I want you on my podcast. Well, let's watch this video first, and then we'll talk about where the Aussie Cossack will go on a podcast. Have a look carefully.
Don't push me. Wanna push me?
You give me permission to push you. Is that what you just said?
No.
No, you just said push me. You want me to push you?
Okay, try.
Did you just give me permission to assault you?
Permission, yes. Okay.
Hang on, say it again. You gave me permission to push you, right? On camera.
Move away from the man that you injured. Move away from the man you injured.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks. There you go, guys. Psychotic Ukrainians.
Yes, he was pushed off the stairs, an elderly man. He's on floor right now. We need an ambulance and we need police here. Because there is an aggressive Russian supporter tries to provoke a fight with us.
Не ебать тебя и твоего гражданства.
Гражданство есть?
We had a protest here.
Есть российское гражданство?
We had a protest here.
Простой вопрос.
Hey,
Don't approach me.
hey.
Don't approach me.
Put your hand on me.
Don't approach me.
Get your
Stay
hand off me.
away.
Frankie, you.
Just
Stay
keep your
away.
hand
No
off
one
me.
touches you.
All right?
You're
Next
walking
person puts their hands
towards
on
me.
me.
You're walking
Next person
towards
put their
me.
hands on me.
That's why I'm putting my hand up.
That wasn't the assault video. That was actually a video that's also part of the day. That was showing how their intent. They're trying to set me up, in fact. And we're about to play the actual assault video in a second. But that video that you just saw there shows the intent of the Ukrainians when they were provocating me, saying, push me, and then just touch me until you can get my satisfaction or your satisfaction. Very funny, huh? Old Ukrainian, let's say, permission, yes, push me, permission. Have you ever seen a victim saying to somebody, push me? You can see the intent. They wanted to get pushed, right? They were doing everything possible to try and push me, to try and get me to react, right? And it didn't work, didn't happen. I kept my cool, as you saw in that video. But the truth is that the Ukrainians were out to set me up. So we'll get the actual assault video up in a second, hopefully. They're attempting to do that. And if they can play that for us, we're much obliged. Because it's very clear what happened there. And look, it would be nice to have this all played in court. It'd be nice to cross-examine that assailant, the guy who claims to be the victim, and ask him the questions. Why did you push the Aussie Cossack, right? Wouldn't it be nice to actually have that day in court? And I would do that. I would go there. I had nothing to fear, nothing to worry about, and getting a fair trial and winning the trial, winning a hearing on the self-defense grounds. But at the moment, I don't trust the Australian government. And once this conflict is being settled or finished, and they're figuring out a peace, maybe then, when the anti-Russian hysteria and the Russophobia from the Australian government subsides, maybe then it'll be an appropriate time to have that matter heard, and actually have a good day in court. Have that matter heard. But they could just drop it. Honestly, there's enough evidence there, and you'll see the video in a second. I can't believe how long it's taking to load, but you'll see the evidence that it is indeed a complete, definite self-defense incident, right? Self-defense incident, 100%. Let's go to your comments while we're waiting for this video to be shown to us. It's hard. It's hard to sit here, and it's frustrating sometimes. But I fight on, I soldier on. What can you do? You can only fight. You know what? I seem to never back away from a fight these days, and I didn't that day in a way, but I didn't intend to hit anyone or push anyone. They attacked me. But if you attack me, I'll answer. I'll come back and I will defend myself. Nothing against defending yourself. And the reasonable force. Did the Aussie Cossack punch the Ukrainian? No. Did he go and kick him in the head? No. Did he use a weapon? No. I mean, it was a very clear case of a pro for you. Consulting and other things. Yes, I don't get paid by the Russian government, if that's what you're asking. And the Russian consulate, if you want to know about living conditions here, mate, it's very self-sufficient. They've all I've got from the Russian consulate, all I've got is jurisdiction, territory. That's it. There's no other support or help. Honest. Not even a cup of coffee has been. No, once I was offered a cup of coffee when I was in the office of the general consul. She said, "Would you like a coffee?" And I said, "No, thank you." And I didn't accept her coffee. Hey, there you go. What else? What else can I say? I think I borrowed a bottle of wine from one of the guards once. I bought a bottle of Marlborough Sauvignon Blanc, and then I returned it the next day. I think he gave me like a Villa Maria, and I gave him Oyster Bay. So yes, but I don't get any help from them. Right? Very rare. I even interact. I don't speak to them. I don't speak to the diplomats. I don't want to speak to them. They don't want to speak to me. They do their thing, and I'm here on diplomatic asylum, locked away, separated, right? Like I'm sitting here right now in the consulate broadcasting. They don't know what's going on. They don't know. Maybe they're watching. Maybe the general consul is watching. Maybe I say, hello, Mrs. Zarina, Your Excellency, if you're watching, shout out to you. Very nice lady. Under a lot of pressure, though, of course. It's not an easy situation for her. And what can I say? Should we elaborate on the consulate lifestyle? I don't know. Tree Green Oak says Simeon was a flag. If somebody wants to know about this flag, this flag here, this is the Cossack flag. What does it say? Австралийский отдел, Австралийский союз. Представительство СКВРЗ. You see that? That's the Cossack flag. It's been supplied to us in Moscow. There you go. That's the answer to the question. And what else we got here? Questions. Simeon, you need to use OBS Studio for live streaming. Very easy program. Yeah. OBS. What else we got? The audio is cutting out. That's not a good thing. Let me know if you can hear in the comment section. Can you hear the audio? 1, 2, 3. Testing. Right. Well, look, we've been going for a very long time. We want to end it on a good note here. We want to say thank you. Can we play that clip or not of the assault? Studio, what's going on?
State. Russia is a terrorist state.
Fuck off, you useless.
Hey, come up to me. Yeah, self-defense. Self-defense. Self-defense.
That is assault. That is assault. You just assaulted me.
He assaulted me first.
You know how we get
It's on camera. It's on camera.
That is assault.
No, don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
There you go. You all saw it. And it's nice to be reminded that that was an absolute case of self-defense. What do we think? What's the people's opinion? Assault or self-defense? Let me know quickly in the comment section. Everyone is saying that is definitely self-defense. Definitely self-defense. Alioris says he approached you. It's true. He approached me. I wasn't there to pick a fight, mate. I'm a live streamer. I'm a blogger. I'm a journalist, a propagandist, whatever you want to call me. I'm not a street fighter. I don't walk around trying to fight people on the street. Right? That's not the Aussie Cossack. How many videos did you see at protests with coppers? Did I ever show violent tendencies? Absolutely not. Self-defense, Sabinator says, and self-defense. There you go, must have been a soccer player. That's what I said. He took a tumble like a Brazilian soccer player trying to get a free kick in front of the goalposts. Absolute self-defense. The guy went flop like a D-grade actor, says DML. Self-defense, no doubt, says Tree Green Oak. Shane O'Brien, I love Shane. He's one of our best subscribers. He's been with us from the very day one. I see him on Telegram commenting on the Aussie Cossack Telegram channel. And by the way, if you're not subscribed, tell everyone to subscribe to Telegram at Aussie Cossack. And the Cash Brand Man says, Cossack, your move should be taught in primary schools. That's a good one. Maybe we should start teaching people that that is self-defense and we should be allowed to do that, right? We should be allowed to do self-defense. Why not? Why not? I think it's definitely self-defense. It's just a shame he fell on the steps, right? Bad luck. It's his own fault. Andrew Watton says, congratulations on the baby. And thank you guys very much. I'm going to get off this stream in a second and check out the link. Check out the link to the baby registry. It's there pinned in the comment section. You can leave a nice message and leave a gift for the baby. You can't say no. People want to know how I'm funded. No, the Russian government doesn't fund the birth of my baby. But friends and supporters, as with anyone, they're allowed to contribute and support. And I'll give you guys a shout out, definitely. Green Tree Oak, love you, Ataman, he says. And Sima Georgievic, one of our great long-term subscribers from the old days. Lucky you have everything on video. There we go. Cossack, can we pass to the consulate to drop off gifts and say hi? Look, you cannot drop off gifts at a consulate. I mean, one time, one bloke threw an envelope full of cash into the consulate mail, right? The guards discover it. It's like this envelope full of cash and it says, for Aussie Cossack, right? There's a whole big thing. They're like, you can't do this, return it to whoever. And I didn't give it to me. I actually had to contact the person that brought that envelope and they had to get it returned to them, right? Because the consulate said we can't be seen to be accepting cash on your behalf. Anyway, that's a funny story, a long story. Some people come and drop off flowers and drop off different things. A few times someone tried to drop off a bottle of whiskey or something. I don't accept anything like that. Anything that could be compromised, right? What can I say? I don't mean to sound like insensitive, but in this situation, the best thing, if you want to support, you want to contribute and help the situation here, and the baby's on the way, you can go to the baby registry. There you go. There's the link in the comments section. And I will have a look when the show finishes, and I'll be pleasantly surprised to see your names there. Because baby Cossack, mate, this kid is going to be a very smart kid. Hopefully he gets Mrs. Cossack's looks and Mr. Cossack's brains, and it'll be a good combination. But the baby will be born in a Russian consulate, made in Russia, but in Australia. What a unique situation. What a unique situation. Press like on the video. Daily Sparkle says, tell us some stories. What kind of stories do you want, Brian? I've got so many stories I could write. Not one book. I could write a whole encyclopedia. And half will probably be redacted on public interest because you're not allowed to talk about it. I'm the guy who gets suppressed. And I've got the interest of two governments here, but the Russian government and the Australian government. I mean, Russia's very, it's sort of very discreet and all this stuff. Like the other day, I gave an interview to the ABC, and the Russian consul general was like, he gave interview to Australian government media. And I'm like, man, like, so you don't want to listen to me. If people want to talk to me, right, face to face, in person, and sort out things, done. But when I get frustrated, I just pick up the phone, I ring the ABC. They're always ready to take an interview from me. All the Daily Mail, all the Daily Telegraph, all the Australian, all the Sydney Morning Herald, right? Nothing wrong with speaking to the press. When some people run from the press, I seem to enjoy it, even if they write bad things about me. If you look out at my Telegram channel, I like repost the articles and I say, look at the latest hit piece, have a read, it's entertaining. I mean, there's nothing they can say against me that they haven't said already, and that didn't stop me, right? What are they going to say? What are they going to say? He's an extremist. He's a pro-Putin propagandist. Putin's #1 man in Oz. Russian propaganda, whatever. Right? Wanted for assault. You guys saw the assault. What kind of assault is that? It's called self-defense, mate. Plenty of stories. The Aussie Cossack book, that's going to be coming up soon. Maybe a good name for the book will be National Security Interest. Danny Zuko is asking, will baby Cossack be Russian or Australian? Well, look, he's made in Russia because he's made in the Russian consulate, but he's born in Australia. He's a Russian Australian. He's a Rustralian. How was that? Rustralian. Yeah? Maybe we can call him that. What else we got here? God's help to Mrs. Cossack and baby Cossack. Thank you very much. Another question from the comment section. Do you receive regular correspondence from police and government? I don't speak to anyone in the police and government unless I call them. I do call Day Street Police Station very often. I actually rang them yesterday. I ring them at about midnight and I say, this is the Aussie Cossack speaking. Can I speak to the DO? And the DO is a duty officer. And sometimes the constables know who I am. Mostly they do. And either they say yes or no. And I speak to the DO and I say, good evening, Inspector, or good morning, Inspector. Sometimes it's Inspector Coffee. Sometimes it's Inspector, what is this? McDonald. There's a few there. They all know me anyway. And I tell them, I said, guys, drop the charges. I said, give me a guarantee you'll drop the charges and I'll walk out of here. And their position is always, Simeon, hand yourself in. Hand yourself in. We can send the car over, walk out of the consulate, and we'll take you away. You'll face court at 9:30. I'm like, no. I'm not surrendering to you guys. I want you guys to drop the charges, right? Day Street Police Station, by the way, they've got my Australian passport, which I need as a travel document to fly out of this country. Because even though I have a Russian passport as a dual citizen, if you're an Australian citizen, you need to leave Australia on the Australian passport. You can't be flying out of Australia on a foreign passport. Will the baby be under Australian birth certificate or Russian? I'm pretty sure both. Let's have a look. Someone's asking, how do you get these flags? Go to www.aussiecossack.shop. And Andrew Watton says, proud of my part Russian heritage on my mother's side of the family, but grew up in Germany. Sounds like a DP, displaced person. Phonetica says, you are dangerous because you have people thinking and asking questions. Oh, yeah. Danny Hartwig says, you cutting here in rural Queensland. That's very nice. Shout out to rural Queensland. DML, Lumley Assaulter. I'm going to upload the video of Lumley Assaulter from Ride Police. Yeah, that's a video. There's a few videos there back in the day. Some good ones there. Like the video, subscribe. DML asks, will the baby be born with an FPO? No, that's the good thing. See, baby Cossack is a separate entity. He's like he's a new person, right? So this baby Cossack, we could actually bring him up and train him. He could become the Prime Minister, right? Why not? Wouldn't that be nice? What's better than being a Prime Minister, having a son who's the Prime Minister? Who knows? Who knows? But any day now, the baby's going to arrive. So we'll be doing some more videos for you guys. We are going on this journey together. And of course, in the baby registry, everyone, I can see some of you already clicking on the baby registry link in the comments section and the description of the video. For the baby shower, I will read out your names and say thank you. It's very nice. Baby Cossack not even born yet. He's got all these fans. Isn't it fantastic? Baby Cossack. Yes. Very nice. Very exciting, guys. First time being a dad, and it's about time. Right? Here we go. Embarking on that journey. It's going to be an interesting topic for the baby's name, that's for sure. Yes. Carl Johnny says, remember when you photobombed Sky News? True story. Yes. I remember that. Ellie QQ says, do you have a plan for the next 12 months? You can't stay in there forever. But guys, I'm here and I've been here being very busy in the last 3 years because there's been a war going on, yeah? And I've been a propagandist during that war. The enemy acknowledges that. The Russians acknowledge that. I acknowledge that. And you know what that means? That means I was very useful during the war, during the last 3 years. Right? I would have gone stir crazy if I wasn't doing anything here. But because I was locked in here and I was busy every day all the time, it wasn't a bad run. It was a good run. It was a good run, in fact. What can I say? I don't really regret it. Right? Being a dad is amazing. I've done it 9 times. There you go. Glenn O'Rourke, family man. See, the Australian Federation Party is run by a father of 9. That's why, you know, it's a good party to join. So that's my request. And we are very pleased to see all of you joining tonight. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, get ready. We've got a big next 7 days coming up. The Baby Cossack is on the way. And it's been a pleasure to spend this Sunday night with you. And what can I say? What can I say? Like and subscribe, as I always say. And thank you very much. Baby Cossack is entering the world, and he's got so many fans and supporters who are clicking that link now, the baby shower, baby registry link in the description of the comment section. And shout out to you all. Thank you very much to the team as well at the studio. Did a great job on tonight's show. And very pleasing. Very pleasing. Can we get a shout out for Crown Plaza Burwood? Oh my goodness. I remember that video. I'm going to have to find it and upload it. I'm going to keep uploading. See, the old channel had 600 or 700 videos. We've only uploaded 50 of them. There's so much more content there from the good old days, running amok when Aussie Cossack was out on the streets, causing a headache for the customers and the politicians and the mainstream media, relegated to the Russian consulate. But still, plenty ahead, guys, plenty ahead. We'll see how it pans out with your help. And with the help of good politicians, John Ruddick, for example. Can't say I'm not happy with what he did. I'm very pleased, in fact. Standing up in Parliament and doing that speech is a good job. So if you head over to John Ruddick social media and write a message, leave a comment under his page on Twitter, on anywhere else, and just say, well done for standing up for the Cossack. And that, my friends, brings us to the end of tonight's show. Shout out for Elizabeth Essay. And there's a whole series on Fiona Martin, Officer Kingston, all the classics, Simeon Boikov Jr. A lot of people are saying that the baby should be named Vlad. What do you think? I'll leave that to you in the comment section. Let me know what you think. But it's been a great pleasure sharing tonight's festivities with you, tonight's show. What can I say? How do you like this photo of Free the Aussie Cossack? We need more of this. Free the Aussie Cossack action on screen. Free the Aussie Cossack. We can put the message on traffic boards, on EMS boards. There you go. Free the Aussie Cossack. And there's Inspector Solar. That's actually a photo from in front of the Russian consulate, in fact, right? In front of the Russian consulate back in the days. So we can really get behind this, and we can push for a freedom thing. But what can I say? It's all happening. It's all happening. The war's ending. The baby's on the way. Aussie Cossack might be free. It's all happening. It's all happening. Everybody stay calm. It's all happening. I'm excited. I hope you can see that and feel that. But I will speak to you during the week or next Sunday night for the next episode of the Aussie Cossack Show. Again, thank you. It's been a pleasure, and I'll speak to you soon.